All right, so I have a couple videos here, and I need everyone to help me understand.
The president pitched his Trump RX website as the answer for Americans who are worried about healthcare costs. He claims that Trump RX has reduced prices by as much as 600%. 600%, which I think means companies should be paying you to take their drugs. But let's do some real math here.
Senator,
do you know what it costs?
President Trump has a different way of calculating. If there's two ways of calculating percentage, if you have a $600 drug and you reduce it to 10, that's a 600% reduction.
But you know, I only have 5 minutes. Do you know what the?
Okay, there's more clips of this happening, by the way. So we're gonna play this one too.
Is this Trump math?
It's so. Well, I'll play this clip and I'm going to tell you what I think is actually happening here. It's not math and it's not real. Okay, but we'll play this clip here.
Speaking of a conversation that I had yesterday with one of the Democratic senators who was questioning me during a hearing, and she was ridiculing President Trump for his math, and she was saying it's mathematically impossible to have a drug drop by 600% cost, which he had claimed. And I said, well, if the drug was $100 and it raised the price to $600, that would be a 600% rise. Well, if it drops from 600 to 100, that's a 600% savings.
That's not how it works.
The president used that mathematical device to illustrate the magnitude of the theft that has been happening against our country and our people, as he said.
Yep.
So can we come up with any way to square this circle? Anyone?
No. Nope.
No.
I'm just glad.
Can anyone help me out how this how this math works? I was writing it down. So 100 to 600. I think that's actually 500% increase, not 600. Just checking here, but and then when it drops back down to 100, let's see, what is that? If you took it into say a third would be 33%, half of that would be 16 and a half. And so it would be like a 84% decline, something like that. I don't know what it is. So that's how the math works. And let me tell you what's actually happening right now. And it's really sad and it's really crazy to watch. Trump says things to exaggerate the benefits of something that he wants to do. He might have done it as a mistake, or sometimes he just likes to exaggerate things. He likes to throw these big numbers out there. And whatever, that's fine. Trump likes to troll people. He might mess something up and then intentionally mess it up over and over again just to get under people's skin. But what is really crazy to watch is the people around him who now have to defend this as some form of actual math. And just think about how you have to belittle yourself.
Room is like shaking their head.
Yeah. You've got like finance guys in there. You got, yeah.
You got $1 billion hedge funds guys in there.
It honestly is. I'm not saying he's like this crazy dictator or whatever.
Trump's
but it's
sitting there.
It's like a North Korea level of like just lying propaganda that you actually have to lie about math because your leader keeps saying math wrong. And so you have to come out and defend it, even though there is no mathematical formula that like backs up what you're saying. And everyone knows that. And now if you don't do that, it's like you're not MAGA. If you don't agree that $600 down to 100 is a 600% decline, you're not MAGA. You hate America. You might as well be a radical Islamist commie if you don't agree that
because Trump decides what MAGA is.
Yeah,
that's why. Wow,
it's a crazy thing to watch. It's like I said with Trump. Like, okay, he'll say something wrong and he'll just say it wrong over and over again, and people will freak out and he'll keep doing it, But the people around him that then have to come out and defend it as real math, that's something else.
I like how he said in the hearing, Trump looks at it differently or looks at math differently or something like that. It's like, By the way, let me tell you the positive. Here's the positive, and I keep telling people this. The positive is anyone can be president.
Yeah.
Even if you have a lower IQ.
You could be fine.
It looks like, by all appearances, you could still make it to the Oval Office.
You can. This is America, baby.
That's it.
You can do it. All right, number 2. We're going to talk about...
Such a great meme. I haven't seen
It's a good one. Number 2 is what's going on with Spirit. And if you're not watching on YouTube, you should be watching on YouTube. This is the Trump Jesus meme.
Did you make this?
No.
Okay.
This was the thumbnail on Zero Hedge's article about this. I don't know if they made it or if they got it somewhere else. This is the Trump Jesus meme, and instead of healing like Jon Stewart that's in the original meme, it's a Spirit plane. And so with glowing hands, just if you're listening right now and not watching on YouTube, which there's a link in the show notes and you should go watch on YouTube, he's healing Spirit at the moment. So this is something, the thing with Spirit. And by the way, I've seen like no one come out in support of this, except for like the people closest to him, like cabinet members, the press secretary. Those people are going to be, yeah, this is a great idea. But I haven't seen Republican, Ted Cruz was out talking about how we don't need to do bailouts, stuff like that.
Kevin O'Leary.
Yeah. Like no one thinks it's a good idea. Everyone's like, we don't use Spirit. No one cares, just let it go. Sure. Some people use Spirit, but they'll just use Frontier or JetBlue or something instead. They'll be fine. This airline sucks. No one cares about it. The people who work there can get jobs elsewhere, and we'll all be better for it, possibly.
But what's funny is like this didn't have to happen.
No.
Anyway, this whole scenario is what makes this entire thing not only a dumb bleep, but absolutely hysterical. And it's like it's almost like you can't even make it up.
Yeah, that's the extra dumb on top of this.
Because I see almost no one talking about the actual dumb about this.
Well, there's like the headline dumb, which is the potential bailout of Spirit, and then potential government ownership.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's not really a bailout.
Well, so the ownership, I believe, is if the bailout doesn't go well, because what I at first read was that it was going to be a loan. And so it could end up getting converted into ownership. We don't know the details of this whole thing right now. Not yet, anyway. The other dumb on top of that is that Spirit had a buyer in JetBlue. JetBlue offered to buy Spirit back in 2022, and the Biden DOJ did. It
wasn't just an offer though; they were like under due diligence.
Yeah, they're going to do it.
It was like this merger was going to happen.
They are going to merge. Okay,
and the federal government stopped it from happening. Just remember that your government stopped businesses from businessing
for competition. You got to have that competition. Even though in the ruling, the judge was like, yeah, it is possible they're going to go bankrupt. Like there's no competition then, And so what we could have had from the merger is an airline that once combined, that at that time they would have been the 5th biggest airline. And so they would have been better positioned to compete against American, United, Delta, Southwest, and still, be a low-cost carrier. And so that would have been much easier. But now it's much harder for all of them. And they like to think, well, it's better if we have Spirit and we have Frontier and we have JetBlue and we have whatever other stuff.
Northwest,
you can have,
East, West, Southwest.
And I get that, like they're all fighting, but really what's happening is the low-cost airlines can't even handle competing with one another. They're so low cost and so low margin that they're like destroying each other, and the big ones can all handle it. Their planes are better, and you just like their services better. So what would have been better is if JetBlue and Spirit would have merged, but that didn't happen. So Spirit ends up filing for Chapter 11 bankruptcy.
Well, not because they didn't try. It didn't happen because they did try.
Oh, they tried.
Yeah, they tried. The government said you can't do that.
They got sued, and a judge blocked the merger from happening. And a year later, Spirit filed for bankruptcy, Chapter 11. So they're still operating. They're restructuring things.
God, you just can't make this stuff up.
Yeah.
You just want to what are you doing?
And it's like, why
In America, imagine like creating a business in America, and then the government gets to tell you whether or not you can sell it to another company.
That's the wildest thing. Like we always look at everything except for, and I get, when you start talking about big companies, people lose this idea that those people have any rights whatsoever. Like the bigger you get, the less rights you have, as people. Like say a person starts a company. Like if you start a company and someone wants to come buy it from you, everyone's like, oh yeah, you should totally be able to sell your company. Absolutely. But if you start this company, you grow it into a multi-billion-dollar company and you have a bunch of employees and then you go to sell your company, you're like, that guy can't sell his company, because they're bigger and that means you have less rights at that moment. But no, a person who creates a company should be able to sell their company to a willing buyer at an agreed upon price. And the government has no business coming in and doing this. Antitrust is one of my least favorite things that the government does. It sets a lot of people up to basically fail or be criminals inside. They can come after you for anything, for charging too low a price, for charging too high a price, for charging the same price. They could go with any of those and find you in violation. So that should be done away with immediately. So now we get to this point where they're failing and they're going to just completely go away. So what are we going to do now? And the answer is Trump wants to either buy it or take some ownership or bail them out. And he actually said the word bailout, which that's Trump. He says it out loud. Most of the time you don't say bailout, he says bailout. So here's this.
Is the government going to buy a stake in Spirit Airlines?
So Spirit is an airline that's had some trouble. They were going to merge with People Express, or one of them, a number of years ago, and Barack Hussein Obama decided it was a bad idea. How did that work out? It's bad for both of them. That would have been a natural merger. Not United and American, but Spirit and the other. We're looking at helping them. We have 18,000 people that live in this country that are great people and great employees. We're thinking about doing it, helping them out, and meaning bailing them out or buying it. I think we just buy it. We'd be getting it virtually debt-free. They have some good aircraft, they have good assets, and when the price of oil goes down, we'll sell it for a profit. I'd love to be able to save those jobs. I'd love to be able to save an airline. I like having a lot of airlines, so it's competitive. So we are looking at Spirit. It's in a bankruptcy. It's in bankruptcy court, and we're looking if we could get it for the right price. I'd do it to save the jobs, and we have somebody that wants to run it, do a good job, smart person. And if they run it properly and if prices come down, all of a sudden it's a valuable asset.
Mr. President.
And they have some very good slots too, which are pretty valuable.
The slots. Yeah. That's one of the things that people are interested in buying, like your slot at the airport. Like it's something that you have like a right to. And so that's, people are like, why would JetBlue want to merge with Spirit? It's like, well, they've got these rights, these slots, They've
got some good gates.
If Spirit just goes away, some of these other people are going to come in and buy that stuff up. And so they want to get in and get those. In what way do you think the U.S. government giving them some money would help to turn around this company?
Just imagine though, Nate, picture this. Okay, we don't need all these different companies and stuff. We just need U.S. Air.
Yeah,
Amtrak
Air.
Amtrak
be
Air.
Good.
The
United States Air Service.
And they all work together, TSA, and you just show up to the airport, government-owned airport. Walk through the government security, hop on a government plane.
It's a private people messing this whole thing up, man.
Yeah.
The government's got unlimited money.
Yeah.
Spirit, you need some money? All right, let's hit print. All right, there we go. You're good to go, man. Come on. And I love that he threw in. So what's happened with Spirit that's made it so bad right now is that the price of oil has gone up so much and the price of jet fuel has skyrocketed, really taken off. And so... And so they can't handle their operations right now. They just don't have the money to keep operating at a loss right now, and they can't raise their prices because they suck. And so they're stuck right now. And Trump's like, yeah, when the price of oil goes back down, because of the war I started for no reason,
Which I know I'm going to end.
So when and I would never actually, feel this way, but when I hear him say it that way, I'm like, well, they kind of do have a little bit of responsibility here, right? Like maybe he feels bad. Maybe that's what it is. He's like, yeah, I got talked into this war, thought it was going to take 3 days, and still going right now. And I think oil is a little over 100 a barrel. I don't know how much jet fuel has actually gone up, quite a lot. And, kind of feel bad. Put you guys in a tough spot. I know you're already struggling, so I'll come in and save your airline, and I'll flip it for a profit later on.
And I'll let some other guy run it who's one of my friends who's just going to do a great job. Smart guy.
I really have not seen anyone in support of this, and that's a good thing.
The craziest thing is the fact that the federal government, that sounds like, blocked two different mergers that Spirit tried to do. One during Obama's presidency and one during Biden's.
I don't know anything about the one.
Now,
first off, he said they were going to merge with People Express.
I don't know.
Was that an airline in operation during Obama's term? I don't know. I don't think I'd ever been on a plane at that time, so I wouldn't know.
I don't think that was a real airline.
I don't know if Peepex was a thing.
But then to turn around and be like, look, we're going to block your mergers. We're going to block you being able to sell your company. And then now we're going to bail you out. But not only bail you out, we're going to buy it.
Mm-hmm.
Like what's going around is like literally $500 million for 90%.
Hey, they turned right now, if they were to sell, they turned pretty big profit on Intel. By the way, they bought it like 26 a share, and it was like 80 a share last night. But the problem is they own 10% of the company, so if they went to sell it, the stock would crater. And I kind of want them to do it just to show everyone what happens when
Trump's a deal maker, man. Come on.
Okay, next thing we're gonna do Fed Galrine. Just real quick, we won't spend a lot of time on Thomas Massie thing, but there's something that really upsets me when it comes to political campaigns. And it upset me, say, during the 2024 election cycle, too. It's probably one of the reasons I ended up voting for Trump. I just can't handle blatant lies about things. I can handle people having honest disagreements or even taking something real and just running with it. But when you take something that is completely false and you just keep saying it over and over again, that really gets under my skin. It's like, why can't you win without blatantly lying to people? That is a problem. And how do you sleep at night? That's my other question that I have. So Ed Galrine says, another day, another claim that doesn't match the record. Thomas Massie voted against the SAVE Act legislation focused on strengthening safeguards in our elections. He was the only Republican to vote no. Kentucky deserves leadership that stands firm on protecting the integrity of our elections and representing the values of our communities. It's time for accountability. It's time for a change. So this is actually more made up than it even sounds. So the thing that Massie voted against was a procedural vote that would just suspend all the rules. That was the thing. And one of the things, like say there's a list of 20 things. One of them says, pass the SAVE Act. And then the other one says, we're going to suspend all the rules for the House. We can bring a spending bill to the floor right now. We don't have to give you 24 hours notice or anything. You don't have to give you time to read the bill. None of that stuff.
We're going to nuke California.
Yeah, we're just everything.
Like all that was in the list.
And they, of course, coupled it with, we'll pass the SAVE Act in this vote too. And this is why they do that, because now they can say vote against SAVE Act. Now, the issue is they still voted on the SAVE Act and Massie voted for the SAVE Act. The other thing was Massie wasn't even the only Republican to vote against that procedural thing, I don't think. Let me see here. Did he say? I don't think he said in this post right here. I don't think he was the only Republican to vote about that. So we actually lied twice. Fed Galrine said 2 lies at least in a post talking about Thomas Massie lying.
This is going to be this is the most interesting election in America.
Oh, it is.
Up in November.
This is the most important one. The message that it will send if they go and spend what Massie has said is $10 million now, what his opponent or has been spent on his opponent. if they go and spend $10 million and Massie spends a few million, whatever it is he ends up raising, with the president backing his opponent and everything, and this has happened for months now, not like the previous ones where they only had like 1 month to throw up a person against Massie, and Massie still wins, that I almost don't care what happens for the rest of the year after that. The message that will send is going to reverberate, hopefully, throughout the Republican Party and throughout the MAGA base. I really hope it does anyway. So this is a very important election. I wish there was like more we could do to help, but you know, Kentucky 4 is not like anywhere near us or anything. Like I do a phone bank, something, make phone calls. I'll look into that, see if we can do that. You shouldn't have to lie to win. And if you do have to lie to win, you don't deserve to win. And if you're running against America's best congressman, you also don't deserve to win still. But there's just no reason for you to have to lie. Your supporters should not be okay with that if this guy actually has any supporters. You know, good Christian people should not be fine with him blatantly lying about someone. And if that's how he ends up winning because he lied about stuff, that'll bother me more than just saying, well, he votes against stuff that Trump wants him to vote for. And he's not MAGA. And he's whatever, a Democrat because he got reposted by Ilhan Omar or something, or he's against the war and he wants Iran to have nuclear weapons. At least all of those have are connected to some form of reality, manipulated, but connected to some form of reality at least. But when you just blatantly just make things up, if that's how you end up being able to win, that's so much worse. That's so much more infuriating to me. Okay, next thing. So Tucker apologized for supporting Donald Trump. They've officially broken up now. It's pretty crazy because for a while he's still, up until a couple weeks ago, he still refrained from just flat out saying bad things about Trump.
He said he was still texting him.
Yeah, he was still trying to maintain the relationship. I think he's closer with JD Vance, but let's get to, I just realized that one of the most important ones I actually didn't put in the Dumb Bleep. Let's listen to a little bit of the Tucker clip if you haven't heard it yet.
Oh, this is bad. I'm out. You and I and everyone else who supported him, you wrote speeches for him. I campaigned for him. we're implicated in this for sure.
Yes.
It's not enough to say, well, I changed my mind, or oh, this is bad. I'm out. It's in very small ways, but in real ways, you and me and millions of people like us are the reason this is happening right now.
Yes.
So I do think it's a moment to wrestle with our own consciences. We'll be tormented by it for a long time. I will be. And I want to say I'm sorry for misleading people. It was not intentional. That's all I'll say. But anyway, the question does present itself immediately. What is this? Was this always the plan? You don't want to be a conspiracy nut, but clearly there were signs of low character. We knew that.
Yes.
But it didn't, there are tons of people of low character who outperform their character. It doesn't have to be.
Sort of the norm, actually, these days, I would say.
I've outperformed my character a lot.
I just wanted to let him get excited there before we end. It is wild. Still does it. Okay, so let me get to a couple of the responses. So Seth Dillon, Babylon B, said, I tried to warn Charlie about him and what he was becoming. I was right, sadly, and regret nothing.
So let's bring in the assassinated Charlie Kirk into this.
So what happened when Charlie would not heed your warnings, Seth? You warned him about Tucker, and Charlie kept his relationship with Tucker, kept inviting him to come and speak. Sorry, I just, it's fun to throw out the conspiracies every now and then, but that is a weird thing.
Questions.
I warned that guy who was assassinated about this,
You were right and regret nothing.
Yes.
Interesting.
You were right. I was right. And the guy who was dead and is not here to speak for himself, who was my dear friend, was wrong. And he kept being friends with this guy. And I tried to warn him. He's just not as smart as I am, especially not now that he's dead. And
this sucks because the Babylon Bee is so great. They have so many great headlines.
Most of the time, they're starting to go the way of the Onion now where you can tell they're just pushing a specific agenda, which you're always like kind of pushing an agenda when you're making jokes about specific things, but it starts to get forced. And so that's how it's starting to feel. There's a few other responses here from people like Dan Crenshaw saying, I hate to say I told you so, but I did. Now everyone's eyes are open. He's only got one eye open, but he does make a joke about the one-eyed man in this. Mark Levin had a response. James Lindsay, this is an abject lesson in something I discussed with Jeremy Boring. We cannot make common cause with subversives. They're not on our team. They're pretending to be on our team to undermine it. And there's just an idea that I don't like here. Is it truly American? Is it really American to say that when a president gets elected, even if you voted for them, that you're not going to criticize them or say bad things about them if you think they've gone way off the rails and are doing things that you vehemently disagree with? Is the un-American thing to criticize the president? Is that what is un-American?
I think even more so if you take analogy of like sports. Imagine like, Trump got this team together and was like, "Hey, everybody, look, I got this play. This is the play we're gonna run to win the game.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, everybody support me. Come in here. Like, look, this is the play. We're gonna go left and then right and then straight. Double tap A, up down, up down."
Mm-hmm.
And everybody's like, "Oh my God, that play will win America the World Cup. You're right about that."
Yeah.
And then, so they decide like Trump is the best quarterback for this play for the World Cup. And we're all going to help him, execute this play. And then we start executing the play. And all of a sudden we didn't know, but there were some backdoor dealings where Trump and part of the team were like, we're going to do this cheat code instead.
Yeah.
And the other team, they're all like, that's not what we agreed to.
And also, we're just going to run towards the other end zone.
Well, that's the thing. Their trick play is to, score a point for the rest of the world.
And then when you're like, he's not doing what we said we wanted to be done and why I was supporting him. And people are like, you are subversive and you're not America first and you're working for the left. If you can't criticize your own people because that means you're helping the other side, like what good is your side? Your side sucks. If your side does something wrong, you should criticize them, or you're just going to run like straight into authoritarianism. Imagine if everyone kept that rule all the time. Where do we go? Play it out. Where does it go? It's not good.
Yeah. Even Trump had something to say recently about this, the Supreme Court. He said the left justices always vote together. It's like, God bless this whole team concept. When is America? When are human beings ever going to learn this anti-tribalism? It's so ingrained.
They're just not going to. I think it's just part of being a human. I guess it is. All right, real quick to number 5. We're going to make fun of the mission accomplished moment that happened last week, just very fast. So as we talked about on our Wednesday episode, there for a moment, I believe on Friday last week, the war was won. And Trump received everything that we wanted in exchange for nothing. And it was just amazing. And only he would be able to do it. And that's just great, except for that lasted for like 2 to 3 hours, if it lasted anyway, because it was never real. But anyway, he was saying it was real. So this is in response to him saying Iran has just announced that the Strait of Iran is fully open and ready for full passage. Thank you. He calls the Strait of Iran, throwing, a little bit of respect on their name out there. And this person says, every foreign policy genius who spent a decade collecting paychecks to tell us Iran was untouchable just watched a real estate developer from Queens reopen the waterway that moves a third of the world's oil. The credential class should be embarrassed into silence. And this is in response to a CBS News article. Trump had told CBS News that Iran's just going to let us come in there and get the uranium and ship it to whoever we think it should go to. And
they've agreed to everything.
Yeah, they've agreed to everything. Like it was, I actually have this. Let's see, our people together with the Iranians are going to work together to go get it, and then we'll take it to the United States, transferring. And then they do put in here that they said that wasn't going to happen. And so anyway, Will Chamberlain says we're getting the enriched uranium, we're getting a stop to enrichment, we're getting an end to the funding of proxies. When we destroyed their Air Force, Navy, air defenses, defense industrial base, and senior leadership, all done in 6 weeks. Geopolitical masterstroke.
Is that what he's doing? He's master stroking to this news.
To that Trump Jesus meme, probably. Yeah, another thing that was in that CBS article that Trump told that journalist was that Iran had agreed to stop funding all of the Iranian proxies that are in the area. It was literally, they agreed to all of our demands in exchange for nothing whatsoever. And there for a moment, the exosphere and MAGA world were
celebrating.
Not so much like they were rejoicing, but after about half an hour, it turned into, take that, panic hands. Here you guys were saying Trump couldn't do this, and he got everything, every single thing on the list we got. And it was made up. It wasn't real. Okay. And so I just want to make fun of those people who first off thought that was even an exchange that was going to happen. Let's see, we get everything, you get nothing. How's that cool? That's not going to happen. And also people should realize that Trump just says things to try and manifest them. He tries to let's say I go up to Charlie's significant other and I go, hey, Charlie agreed to take you out for a nice fancy dinner tonight. Isn't that awesome? You know, that's great. Hey, Charlie, you're such a good guy, man. That's great. Now, what the hell do you think Charlie's going to do when he goes up there and say, I didn't say damn shit about taking her out tonight at all. He's like, yeah, babe. Yeah. Where
She's
do you want to
taking me
go?
out.
Yeah. Where would you like to go? Let's do it. You know, so you put that person in a position to where they're the asshole if they don't follow through on the thing that you said that they're going to do. You know, and it like shifts that blame or burden or whatever over to them. And if they don't do it, then it looks like they're the crazy person. And so he does it. It works sometimes. It definitely works sometimes.